And welcome everybody. We're back here for a best of one between two teams. We have Wood Warriors representing University of Tasmania on the blue side, and we have University of South Australia in the form of Tea Party. So I am joined here with Shadow Warrior, and we've had a beautiful set of games so far today, and we actually just had a glimpse at Wood Warriors last game against a Dream, but this is a new game and a new set of teams. So, what are your thoughts on these games and how will it play out, Wood Warrior? Shadow Warrior?
Well, we've seen both of these games, both of these teams, play today, and both of them have, I don't know, sort of left something to be desired, I guess, in terms of their success so far. So I think it really will be up to both of them to perform very well this game. Very quick into picks and bans, actually. Two onto both sides already down. Anything in particular you think is going to either get banned as a priority or picked as a priority this game?
Well, I mean, as you've mentioned before, bans extremely fast. Obviously, the side of Wood Warriors knowing what they want to ban away, and obviously they did research and they watched the game that South Australia played against Charles Darwin, where the Elise went crazy in the hands of Succubus and also the Cluster on Aurelia bot. So, and actually picking away the Orianna, which is also a takeaway from Siren's Kiss. So they've done their research extremely well. But before we go into that too much, what are your thoughts on the bans on the side of the purple side?
Ooh, Mordekaiser, Tristana, Aurelia. Well, you know, Aurelia. She's just a very, very strong all-round laner, and so is Tristana in terms of if you can get them through the laning phase, then all of a sudden they just become this late-game nightmare that just rips into your team, and you can't really do too much about it. In terms of Mordekaiser, I think that's more of a know how to play him, and we don't know how to play against him sort of ban, so I think that's why he came out. He has some really strong features about him, but I don't know how he's going to perform in the bot lane if that's where people decide to take him.
Yeah, Mordekaiser is an extremely niche champion. I mean, can get that dragon pet, can help the team tank up that Baron if they choose to do so, or even poke the enemy team when they come towards the Baron to try to stop it. But that's a story for another game where Mordekaiser is actually picked up because it is banned away this game, and also his Juggernaut counterpart Garen being banned away also. But Mordekaiser and Skarner both are up, so both potential pickups. But we won't see Skarner on the side of Wood Warriors as they choose Sejuani in their jungle. What are your thoughts on the Sejuani opposed to something like Gragas or something like Rek'Sai?
I think that Sejuani's ultimate in this instance can actually really help their team, especially with the Fiora pickup. Fiora just needs somebody to really just, lock down the enemy team, and that's exactly what Sedge and Orianna can do with both of their ultimates respectively. So if they can get that down, Zafaro or Sabtas, whoever decides to play this, probably Sabtas, can just dance around the enemy team, whoever they decide to ult, and to get that healing pad down for the rest of their team, which is super strong, as we've seen.
Yeah, actually, Fiora is something we have to mention quite briefly, that she's been changed recently. I mean, her parry that actually blocks everything now. I mean, even an anti-combo gets blocked away, no damage is taken, so it's quite a weird change to the champion. Made her more of a duelist, which is what she's supposed to be, and that healing pad does so much healing if, it is activated. But this vital point thing, how is it going to go against something like a Malphite in the top lane who's known for being the counter to Fiora and those kind of heavy AD champions in top lane?
Fiora will just have to farm it out, I guess. There's really nothing that Fiora can do into a Malphite, because Malphite, as you said, is just super tanky. So, farm it out, try and block as much as you can with your parry, and that's really all there is. There's not too much kill potential up top, especially with a Fiora and a Sejuani, two people who don't do too much damage early game. I don't think they'll be focusing on the top lane a lot.
But a featured matchup will probably be the mid lane. We saw Zafiro not last game, but the game before, on that Orianna going really, really crazy, going 11-1, hitting those real big shockwaves and 2v1ing at some points in the game. And we actually see the lock-in of Shyvana, so it'll be a bit of a repeat from last game. We saw the Shyvana on the enemy team. So we'll see if Succubus on the Shyvana can have a little bit more success than the team previously. I mean, Charles Darwin on the Shyvana, did some work in that game, but couldn't really translate to a late game win, could it?
No, it couldn't. This is very interesting all round because of the last pick of Janna. Janna can just push Fiora away, and then pretty much everything that Fiora has to offer is just gone down the drain from here on in. So I think that's a very nice pick coming in to round off the side of Tea Party representing UNISA on the purple side.
Yeah, we just have to look briefly over to the team comps. We have on the left side of Wood Warriors, the University of Tasmania here, and they have the Fiora on the top lane. We have the Happy Camper on that Sejuani, hopefully he has a bit more success than he did last game against O2-1, a very brutal game to watch. Zafaro on that Orianna, Shados on that Jinx, and Billy Gate onto that Thresh. And on the right side, we have University of Australia with a Malphite on the top side, Succubus on that Shyvana, Siren Kiss on that Cassiopeia, Aurelia Bot on the Graves, and Slazza on that Janna. And we actually saw Slazza have some success on the Thresh last game, but playing quite a different champion, can still make plays, but not quite as much as Billy Gate on that Thresh should be able to do.
I really want to see whether Slazza roams or not this game, because Janna, with both her passive and her W, is notorious for roaming really fast and really hard to other lanes. So I want to see if that happens and how Billy Gate interacts with that. If they just both decide to stay bot, that's fine too, but I think that a lot of pressure is taken off the map if Slazza doesn't decide to move around it.
Yeah, interesting point. I mean, both supports are very capable at roaming and helping the mid lane, and mid lane's quite a volatile lane, especially with Cassiopeia. Siren Kiss, obviously a very good player, can potentially get that level 2 kill actually if she can land one Q. So, I mean, Q then spam that E on the Cassiopeia with the Ignite, but she's actually opting for the barrier, which is quite weird. Usually you'd see something like a cleanse if anything, but neither the Ignite or the cleanse are going to be picked across. I mean, I'd cleanse the Happy Camper's Glacial Prism on that Sejuani, but obviously opting against it. But Slazza and Aurelia Bot, Slazza's shield is going to essentially help the Graves do a lot more damage. I mean, the Eye of the Storm gives you something like a free BF sword in the late game, which is so much. If she get the Magi and start stacking it up, then it's going to be a very big Howling Gale damage and also a lot of healing and disengage on that Monsoon.
We'll have to see how that goes. I mean, Medjais is not necessarily something that Janna always picks up, but it's definitely very interesting to think of, especially if you take a look at the scaling curve of Tea Party. Everybody except for Graves on their team really scales hard into the late game, especially the Shyvana on the Sated Devourer and the Cassiopeia waiting for all of her stacks to apply her passive. So if they can just make it through the early game, this is a really strong combo.
I kind of dislike the side of Wood Warriors in this team comp in terms of they have every single lane that has late game scaling. And Orianna notorious for farming to that 300 farm, get that 3 out of, and then start offering a lot of damage. Also, Jinx, not weak in lane by any means, but also scales up to the late game Dream. Fiora, I have not much experience with the new Fiora so far, but also obviously does a lot of damage in the late game. So maybe they put all the eggs in one basket and they don't have enough early game damage to meet early game fights. I mean, the use of Senpai on that Malphite, the Unstoppable Force offers the same amount of utility as it normally would in these late game fights and the early game fights. So we'll see what the side of Wood Warriors can do to kind of pass this ditch in their power curve.
That's right, and Wood 7 Warriors have to really look out for the Tea Party hitting level 6s, because an ulting Malphite is really strong against a Fiora who hasn't picked up any items, who can't really do enough damage, and who just doesn't have any tank. So if they can get over that ditch, like you said, then Wood 7 Warriors on the blue side should be able to do fairly well, especially seeing as they do have that Sejuani for the front line. But that ditch is going to be reasonably hard to get over.
Exactly. I mean, the 25 to 30 minute mark is where I feel that Wood Warrior 7 would actually get their power spike. So I think it's up to the side of Tea Party to try force early dragons and try get objectives where they can. Try force these early objectives so that they can get in these 5v5s where it's advantageous for them. But what should we be expecting in terms of lane swaps, early warding, or anything like that?
This isn't particularly be a volatile lane for either of the matchups. I don't think that that Fiora necessarily wants to go into a 1v2, so probably isn't going to happen from the Wood 7 Warriors. On the Malphite, I don't think that he can really go to a match.
Yeah, I mean, Malphite going for that cloth armor stuff, so obviously opting for the what he prefer to be a 1v1 matchup, because cloth armor can have that sustained advantage over Septus on that Fiora, but very intrigued to see what Fiora can do, because I'm yet to see the new Fiora in competitive play, so see what she can offer to the team, how she can manipulate this lane to her advantage if she can at all. But it's going to be up to Happy Camper to try grind it to 6, or try power level to 6 to try to get those glacial prisms out and try to lock up some key priority targets, because Succubus most likely going to be farming away for the early part of this game.
That is the aim of the game, isn't it? For both junglers to farm until level 6. So unless anybody decides to go for some extraneous activities, we're going to see some lanes with not a lot of jungler interaction in them, which isn't necessarily bad. It just means that they're going to scale into late game, but it will be more matchups that we're going to see.
Exactly, and it's really important that solo lanes of the side of both teams actually get this slight advantages, because as we see already, Siren Kiss is putting down a lot of damage onto the side of Wood Warriors. I mean, Zephyr being taken so low, Siren Kiss hitting that level 2 spike, but will not be able to get any damage down. I mean, he's walking away, and dominance in that lane already being exerted by Siren Kiss onto Zephyr, and Cassiopeia pick obviously having a stronger lane in this part of the game.
An interesting thing that I would like to see going into early team fights from both of these sides is how Succubus decides to use his parry, because parry can dodge pretty much everything, including Malphite ult, including Cassiopeia ult. It's absolutely insane. So
yeah, Cassiopeia ult, as you mentioned, and Malphite on Unstoppable Force, both abilities you can sidestep or dodge with that parry, and if his reaction speed is fast enough, that'd be extremely good for him to be able to dodge those away. But first back, Happy Camper doesn't get the blue buff, so he's gonna opt for that the 3 camp start and then buy the jungle item to get that extra gold. Actually, a lot of damage going down by Billy Gate, but has a level differential and still trying to fight this. I mean, Aurelia bot putting some damage back down on Shadows. Slaz are gonna put that slow down with the Zephyr, and just a bit of back and forth damage, but I feel like Aurelia bot and his partner got the upper end of that trade. And there may be yeah, but Shadows and Billy Gate. Interesting thing to mention, actually, Billy Gate opted for actually a lot of damage going down on Shadows. Shadows might be taken down here, heal being popped, and he's living on a sliver of health, but a bit of back and forth in top lane. Septus still has that pot, but actually ganking from Succubus, using that parry very efficiently. Septus does. The counter game coming in by Camper, but Septus and Happy Camper go to the other side of the map and opt against it. But early back here by Siren Kiss, gonna get that tier of the goddess, gonna go farm it up early, try to get that Cassiopeia late game dream, and Septus and Happy Camper gonna sit in that top lane, set up a counter gank, and very smartly played there, because Happy Camper stayed, and Septus is there for the counter gank. Succubus has no summoners, has the flash at his disposal, but gonna use that burnout to just walk away with the movement speed. Very strong play there, and we actually already see Zafaro walking towards the top lane to try counter gank, but not going to find much there unless they can get something Useless Senpai. But Useless Senpai still has his flash and the Tribush warded, so not much going to come out of that. So basically all the lanes quite even at this point. I mean, a bit of back and forth, not really any summoners burnt, and Succubus on that Nirvana posting off to farm it out. And interesting enough, Septus actually doesn't have a lot of damage going down here on Siren Kiss. Happy Camper not even rotating it, finishing his camp, and Siren Kiss going so hard onto Zafro. flash, and actually, seeing as he flashed away, the auto attack made it there because the barrier timed out once he did arrive at his destination. So the projectile speed of the auto attack was enough to pick up the kill on the back end of that. So very, very well played there by Siren Kiss, knowing his limits and showing the raw damage that can come out of Cassiopeia. And I think it was a mistake there by Happy Camper to not help out his laner, and you know, instead of finishing the camp, which he did do. So first blood does go across to Siren Kiss on that Cassiopeia. Very scary to get some kills onto that champion. So we'll see what she can do with this kill advantage. Has yet to back and will back now. Might pick up the actually cooking on the Aurelia bot, and Phil Gay can do so much damage to Aurelia bot. Still staying into his range form and burning the flash. And I mean, obviously advantage going over to Billy Gate and his partner Shados. But if he's changed to his minigun form and posted the rockets, I feel like he would have got a lot more damage down there and potentially got a kill. But nonetheless, does pick up the flash there, and Aurelia bot and his partner Sluzz are going to play a lot safer in this part of the game. Pinging towards Dragon, but won't be taken away quite yet, and both teams very conscious that that may be a potential. I mean, Succubus has yet to pick up that Devour item, so no 5 stacks from Dragons, but he is on the brink of it, only a couple hundred gold off, and Sluzz are going to put down some damage, just auto attack away, and just kind of establish dominance, say, hey, I'm here, and do his best job to try to give Aurelia bot an easy time in lane. So we'll see what comes out of that, or manifests out of that lane advantage in terms of the ignite differential. But Aurelia bot should have the advantage here. I mean, it's a pickaxe versus a longsword and boots, so a lot more damage in the pocket of Aurelia bot, but that flash being down might hurt him in this stage of the game. Siren Kiss actually on his back only was managed to pick up another Doran's ring and the boots, which would add to the sustain, but not really much damage being added to that, which you might see out of something like a actually gank might come in from Happy Camper. A very, very good Howling Gale that actually counters the gank, and Zaptas utilizing the vitals on Malphite, and Succubus looking for the counter gank, forced a flash over those traps. Not quite 6 yet, so can't use the Dragon's Descent, but very, very strong rotational play. Siren Kiss here can do so much damage with that E, and Siren Kiss getting a second kill there. Flash being burnt. Aurelia bot using that dash over the wall, but not being able to kill Aurelia bot, and Succubus might be taken down here. Gonna get collapsed on by Zafro, and so low here, and Shados does get that kill, and they might turn this into a blue steel slash dragon take. So very, very good rotational play there by the side of Wood Warriors to try to counter Siren Kiss's rotational play up to the top side. But here's walking towards Dragon, and then a couple of low members on the side of Teabag. Wood Warriors, and the flash. Oh, does a very, very good job there. Dragon actually resets and gets 2 kills there. Slazzer and Siren Kiss gonna do their best job of doing some damage. And see if he comes through. And actually, the very, very good traps there. And they actually might pick up the Dragon here, which was in the favor of Wood Warriors there. So very good job there by Siren Kiss, hitting a 4-man gaze there, the petrifying gaze, and so much damage there. Doing what he did, you know, 2 games ago on that Orianna, and doing his best job at trying to snowball his team, get his team some leads, and as we see now, he just picks up that needlessly large rod, so he's gonna be doing so much damage, and I feel scared right now for Zafaro on that Orianna. I mean, he's so behind, even in farm, down 3 kills. And it's pretty rough for him right now. I mean, Succubus gonna take away the only blue, which is quite weird, seeing as Cassiopeia is a very blue-dependent jungler, but obviously opting to try to get that earlier sated Devourer, and he had to pick up the Devourer actually, so not even getting stacks off that blue. But it's up to Siren Kiss and his partner in the jungle to do their best job at trying to punish mid lane and snowball Siren Kiss to make sure he doesn't get killed or shut down, because a gank by Sejuani is a very real threat in terms of Sejuani with the Orianna Shockwave. Aurelia bot actually didn't have enough gold for that BF, so just gets a dagger for the attack speed, but not quite sure what he's opting for. Maybe going to go for that earlier Berserker Greaves for the mobility. I mean, because sidestepped the Thresh's death sentence is a lot easier. But as we see here, Zafraros and his partner actually going to be given across the blue buff, because blue buff is extremely important on something like Orianna, who spams a lot of spells. That's going to be a very good pickup, but let's hope we can hold onto it and not die to cast, because if he does get that blue buff given across 2 casts, it's going to be extremely hard for them to actually utilize what they have to do. They're probably gonna be able to farm safely, I feel, with this Orianna though. And actually, across the map, pretty even. Actually, the point blank triple force missing there, so not quite sure what UCL was doing. And as I was mentioning before, if Siren Kisses can get the kill and get the blue, then it's gonna be very bad for the side of Wood Warriors. Okay, Saboteur's gonna auto take that tank minion away. Again, gonna go over. Succubus gonna do his best to be there, but UC Senpai does not have that unstoppable force because he did ult himself a little bit earlier. And bot lane turning into almost a farm lane. I mean, Aurelia, actually a hook going across into Slaz, they're gonna go all in. Aurelia bot gonna zone out Shadows with his auto attacks. Billygate exhausting across, and Slaz are not in a really good position right now. But Aurelia bot will auto take Billygate, they keep autoing. Shadows very low. But gonna be Lancing back in. And they might go for the re-engage here. No one's there to help as of yet. I mean, we see Happy Camper walking to the far side. Slaz gonna get the hook across, and Shadow's gonna be taking so the ult might come through here, and the rally bot gonna ult him, not having the opportunity to heal. The heal is down, and Billygate might be 2 for 2, and 2 for 0 right there, and a beautiful monsoon there by Slazza, and Saboteur's gonna burn the teleport for no reason, and not gonna pick anything out to help. So gonna be up to Saboteur to try hold this lane. Might get ganked here by Happy Camper, but Happy Camper quite low already by a rally bot. 2 auto attacks, and he's taking down to, you know, 1/5 of the house already taken away, and Succubus there for the counter gank, so no pressure of a gank gonna happen. And I mean, Siren's just gonna collapse potentially on Happy Camper. Saboteur's looking towards and might go for the kill, but no, gonna dash in. Might get Monsoon up here, but does a very good parry there. Siren is gonna be stunned up, and they should back off right now. I mean, the team are respawning back from base. Put down the miasma there, and it doesn't even alter the miasma. Nearly kills Shadows, and actually does kill Shadows, knowing his damage limit. And Billygate at the flash over the wall, so very well played there by the side of Tea Party, knowing their limits. And Siren Kiss just roaming down at the perfect time. A very good shockwave there, getting 2 members, but not enough damage to come through here. And they throw the Lantern across. Zephyr are going to take the Lantern, and they should walk back. But seem to get this turret, but Siren Kiss taken down to, you know, half HP here, not ideally. Actually, a hook going across by Billygate, just landing, but Billygate, only level 5, can't do much to help in terms of offering the box and CC. Really, they best job at denying this minion wave and getting the turret, which is a lot of gold. And then also in the top lane, Useless Senpai going to get the turret as well. I mean, the whole time he's up to top lane farming away, so I mean, that's just not really getting much for his efforts, and a very good mesmerizing gaze, petrifying gaze, sorry. Except burnt the flash there to live, and I mean, Siren Kisses on this Cassiopeia just going so crazy, doing so much damage, and it's so hard for the side of Wood Warriors. Siren Kisses making the kill here, and a very good collateral damage there by the rally bot on that Graves to pick up the kill. KSing his friend. I mean, if this is a silver solo queue, everyone would be like, oh my god, KS, feed AFK, but nonetheless, the kill does go over to Rally Bot, gets up this 3rd kill, which is really good on the Graves, means he can get that BF sword, hopefully, gonna finally back after a short, well, what almost seemed like forever. Actually has that gold to buy Infinity Edge, so much gold in his pockets, and it's just so hard right now for the team of Wood Warriors to kind of claw back. I mean, what seemed like a good early game from them turned into a really big lead to the side of and now both lanes are just going to go back to their normal stages, and Shados and his partner opting to not freeze the lane at their 2nd tier turret, which is pretty good for them. We see why Succubus finally pick up his Devourer after that long passage of play bot, and Useless Senpai actually going to get that Dead Man's Plate. Interesting item to build first, but I mean, I won't argue with it, I'm not a top lane main. But just in terms of raw stats, Dead Man's Plate doesn't really offer much, only 50 armor and 600 health, sorry, and quite a pricey item compared to what we usually say, you know, Frozen Heart, something that's usually quite gold efficient. I mean, in recent nerfs, maybe not as gold efficient as it was, but still, it's a good point to bring up that actually Zephyr actually might go for the gank, but UC Senpai does have the Unbreakable Will, Unstoppable Force, sorry, but just opts to burn the flash instead. No help will be bot, and the rally bot getting exhausted and might just collateral damage here with it. Actually, very good flash by Succubus, and Siren Gates actually might kill godlike there on the Cassiopeia, just killing Happy Camper on that Sejuani, not having a good time in that jungle, and Siren Kiss is just translating his lead from the jungle, from the mid lane to the map, helping his team out where he can, and a turret in the top lane for 2 kills is very, very beneficial. Gonna play this dragon, get the 5 stacks onto White Succubus, gonna help him get that save devourer a lot earlier than he'd like, than he usually would possibly. And very well played here by the side of Tea Party, sorry. And Super Mega Death Rocket just not clipping Succubus there, but it would not have been enough. And as I mentioned before, Slazak getting that Magi's Soul Stealer, so very, very good pick up there, especially if you're ahead, because Dave either can get you out of control in terms of how big the shields do damage and how much the Zephyr, Howling Gale, and the Monsoon do heal up. Actually, Hook going across there, Billy Gate, Succubus. Succubus does not have Flash at his disposal, but a very, very good turnaround there with a Petrifying Glaze. Teleport comes here by UNISA. Has Unbreakable Will, Unbreakable Force, Unstoppable Force, sorry, getting my words mixed up. Slays are gonna use his Monsoon to heal up, putting down Miasma for the retreat, and Succubus gonna back off. A very good rotational play there by his team to help him out and do his best job at trying to help the team. And yeah, as Velos mentioned in the chat, Siren Kiss is very good on the Cassiopeia, animation cancels properly on the E. So obviously a veteran in this champion, and I think he's actually a Cassiopeia main. It makes sense because his name is Siren Kiss, but a lot of damage going down with the the Glacial Prism, and a Succubus there to help his team. Gonna try to subset his way back as fast as he can. Didn't have 50% off his Q, but no, not enough. But does pick up the Constellation kill, 2 kills on Succubus, and that's someone you don't want to get fed. And 2 kills onto the Shyvana is very, very scary in terms of this late game, getting that Save Devour early. I expect him to get Save Devour quite early. I mean, quite close to now. He's on 23 stacks, a couple more cells, a couple more camps, then he should be at that 30 stack mark. Yeah, as the chat did mention, his name is Siren Kiss, which is Siren, you know, Cassiopeia. But a lot of damage going across. Just Rally doing so much more damage, Shadows out of position, and this front line dying before his eyes, and the carries of his team doing so much damage. Tea Party just shooting through the front line and the back line alike. And it's so hard right now for the side of Wood Warriors to kind of come back and find a lead. You know, Succubus gonna pick up that Scuttle, gonna add 2 stacks, sorry, and towers falling across the map. 2 dragons under the belt of Rallybot and his team. Slaz gonna do his best job at trying to push a turret. I mean, Jana not really known for her turret pushing potential. Actually, Cypher's gonna go on to Sabotage, putting the Miasma, might parry a lot of this, but does not parry the Unstoppable Force. And another kill going to Siren Kisses. I mean, so much damage. Maybe the scouting wasn't done correctly. I mean, they should have banned this Cassiopeia in Siren Kisses. Siren Kisses is doing it to great effect, but Billy Gate and his team looking to do a trap maneuver, might go for the hook. Hooks the wrong target though. Yuso Senpai not only here on a way hooking, and Billy Gate might just die here right now. Lived on a smither of health, and Slador's gonna be forced under turret. Yuso Senpai might just tank this up, but no, opts against it. Hook going on to actually killed the poison going across and doing so much damage there to Billy Gate, and actually very, very good Petrifying Glaze there, heading him on the back end. Shadows going down on the back end, very, very good Christian Prison, but no one is there to help. And Portugal might go across here to Siren, and Siren, no, Yusa Senpai does steal the kill away. And fortunately, my partner Shadow Warrior is back. So Shadow Warrior, from what you've gathered, how's this game playing out?
From what I've gathered, I think that the University of South Australia is very far ahead so far. So looking at these items, Siren is just absolutely decimating on this Cassiopeia. You know, she's got so many stacks on right now. She's just stacking up her passive like crazy, as well as a fully stacked Seraph. She's just doing so much right now.
Yeah, she went for kind of a utility build though. She went for the Seraphs into the Rylai's. Is that something you'd normally see in the Cassiopeia, or would you rather see something like a not a Bloodthirster, sorry, needlessly big rod into something like Death Cap or what's Aether's Wisp into Luden's Echo, sorry. Actually a lot of kills. Actually, Shadow's flashing away and might die here. Might get more than 1 kill. Billy Gate gonna be taken down low, and the Save Devourer is there, but no, only 1 kill onto Shadows. But as I was mentioning, what do you make of this itemization on Cassiopeia?
For Rhylight is perfectly fine on her because every time she puts her twin tanks down on people, it's going to slow them so she can get another one down. It's a perfectly fine build path, but yeah, once you start getting into that mid-late game, you definitely do want that Rabadon's Death Cap, that Void stuff in order to start doing more damage on Cassiopeia. But the way that she's transitioned so far, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean, Simon Kisses is so far ahead at this point that the team of Wood Warriors don't have time to build any MR. I mean, the ADC, Shados, hasn't even had an opportunity to build up that Infinity Edge, let alone, some MR items such as, maybe Banshee's Veil. But Simon Kisses is just walking forward and using that Petrifying Glaze, just one-shotting Shados dead. This shows how much damage he does at this point in the game, and that he really should pay a bit more respect to this Cassiopeia.
Shados just being taken down so systematic. If you take a look at her items, not even a VF sword coming out, so it's really up to Shados to maybe. We all know Jinx doesn't need that many items in order to scale. That's pretty much the #1 priority for Shados right now.
Exactly. As I was mentioning the Champions League, one of the worries I had with the team comps of Wood Warriors was that they had too much late game scaling. If they didn't make it to the mid game, then it'd kind of be counterintuitive to their team comp, and I think this is a very good indication of what is actually happening in this game. I mean, Saptar's actually might kill a Rally Bot, but no, too big a Death Rocket does not do enough damage on a Rally Bot there, and actually Succubus going in there, might dive even further. Has one, he's happy with it, and might go for the mid lane turret right now.
Ooh. Like you did say before, yeah, there's just too much late game scaling, which means that no lane really won, and that always transitions very poorly into mid game team fights. So they needed to avoid that, and that's not what they did. So, since and a perfect score, great.
Yeah, and actually might kill Heavy Camp on the back end of that. But spam those twin fangs, sidestep the Glacial Prism, actually might get Shockwave here, might go down here. Zapdos and Shadows are both here, but that's Petrifying Glaze, and hits one person. Kites back very, very well with that Miasma and her twin fangs, and the Useless Senpai is there to help, and does pick up the kill onto Zapdos with that burn, and it does. Slazzer does the last hit with the auto attack, has 17 stacks on that mid, does on Janna. So much heal and shield coming across here, and it's a very dire situation for the side of Wood Warriors right now.
Yeah, Wood Warriors just so far behind. If you take stock of what's happening, nearly a 20k gold disadvantage, it's going to be really hard to pull this one back.
Yeah, setting up for the Baron actually. Shyvana with the Save the Baron and that Blade of the Rune King can have a very, very fast take. And I mean, Janna with the shields, they're so big right now that it's going to be extremely easy for them to try to take this across. And Siren's going to put that Miasma down, spam those twin fangs, and it's going to be extremely easy to pick up the Baron. Only issue is that maybe Siren might run out of mana here. Actually, very smartly, the team of Wood Warriors does transition across, tries to look towards this Baron, but they already know that it's going to be taken because Baron and Dragon have both, announced since the new patches that have been released by Riot.
You can time this very easily when you're on the other team, but yeah, Siren's Kiss actually picks up where Irelia drops off, because Graves starts doing fewer and fewer damage as the game goes on, but Siren's just scales upwards, especially with that double Rabadons in the form of a passive and an actual Rabadon. So yeah, I don't think that UNISA is going to be lacking any damage with that Grave scaling.
I mean, Siren Kiss is picking up 2 needlessly large rods, and there's 120 AP in the bank, I guess, but maybe a little bit of disrespect there, but she's so fed right now, it doesn't really matter. On Cassiopeia, 13, 1, and 6. I mean, almost half of the kills. Actually, very good Glacial. Petrifying Glaze there to get Zephyro, and the Godlike does trigger. I really want Michael Septus on the bot lane here, but not enough damage, and Septus does go out of there safely. But they might siege onto the bot lane. Slazzer does get hooked across, but doesn't go over the wall, and uses the monster maybe preemptively. Was not in any situation to die, but why I Succubus does pick up the kill, and so many deaths just going across the map. Succubus gonna get another kill. Will it save the Baron? This is the Save the Baron late game dream. You see if not a Cassiopeia, a Shyvana. I mean, once that Shyvana gets a Bork and the Save the Baron, it's just monstrous, isn't it?
Oh, that's where Shyvana really starts to shine. There, and then she just gets tankier and tankier. And it just becomes harder and harder to kill her while she dives your back line. It's not a great place to be going into a Shyvana with all of these items fully stacked.
Yeah, Rally Bot, as you mentioned, Graves does fall off, but I mean, a 603 Graves compared to an ADC that doesn't even finish their first item, I mean, it's really hard to out-damage someone that's so far ahead, and they're going to push in, they have the triple inhib, and this is almost the last nail in the coffin for the side of Wood Warriors. I mean, actually very, very good ult here, Glacial Prism, but they might get happy camp because this is so meta right now, so many tanky stats, and by Succubus putting the ult out of there and does not actually do that. Aurelia Bot might kill Zephyr and does get the crit that he needed, so that was a 3 for 1. Aurelia, Succubus, sorry, oh no, Siren Kiss, sorry, did end up going down in the back end of that fight, finally dying, 13-2, and the surrender vote does come down, so that will be one game up to the side of Tea Party there.
The story of this whole day, it seems, is just systematic victories. Nobody's taking any unnecessary risk to finish the game, and everybody's just pushing what they need to in order to finish the game. So, yeah, that's pretty much what's going on right now.
Yeah, definitely a very, very well played game there by Tea Party against Wood Warriors. Wood Warriors did do some very good stuff in the early game, in the level 1 to 5, held out in the very early game, and I actually thought they had the advantage, but Siren Kiss on that Cassiopeia, doing her name proud. I mean, Siren Kiss, probably a bit of a poke at, you know, Siren, Cassiopeia, Siren. Anyways, doing that name very proud, but obviously Tea Party winning that game quite convincingly. So next game, actually, we are casting Monash A versus Charles Darwin University. So if you guys would like to tune on that, it'll be played in roughly 20 minutes. But I'm Poon, and I'm joined here with Shadow Warrior, and we are out.